You're listening to Co-op Radio, streaming at koop.org. Radio for people, not for profit. This is Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. I'm Mike Wheat.
And I'm Kanya Lyons. Each week on our show, we go beyond the stacks and get to know the people and the programs that make the library a hub of learning, technology, and inspiration for our community.
Volumes, we bring the library to you every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
And thanks to the kind folks with Writing on the Air for telling their listeners about our show. And as they mentioned, today we are going to have a conversation with Lance Gentles and Everett Keller about the Carver Computer and Job Search Center, which is a wonderful resource that not enough people know about.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Well, let's get started from the beginning with some general information. Lance, where are you from?
My family is from Jamaica.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Kingston, St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica.
I did not know this.
Did you grow up there at all?
No, actually, we traveled abroad when my father joined the U.S. Military and got to see quite a few sites as we do, as you know, as a military family. You know, you go to many places, you know.
I was in a military family, but my dad retired in this small little town of Copper's Cove, so I didn't get to benefit on that.
Aw, no travel for Mike.
No travel for me.
Well, so what brought you to Austin?
Well, my father was here, and he told me, he said, you know, I came out here and found a job here with the city, and you know, ended up being a good thing, you know, library.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Let's meet Everett. What about you? Where do you hail from?
Well, I was born in Corpus Christi, but I grew up in a suburb outside of Fort Worth called Bedford.
Oh, I don't know it.
You know, it's pretty much just like Hearst and Euless.
Nice.
So what brought you to Austin?
Oh, I moved here in 1999 to go to school, and I've pretty much lived here ever since then, except for the 2 years I was in the Peace Corps.
Nice. And then what inspired you to work at the library?
Well, I while I was at UT, for my minor, they had a special concentration they were offering at that time. I don't know if it's available anymore, called Technology, Literacy, and Culture. That was sort of an interdisciplinary study about how society and the information age are coming together and the specific sorts of problems and issues that surround that. And anyway, so I've kind of always been interested in things like literacy. And so when I had an opportunity to work for the library, I jumped on it.
Great.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So what about you, Lance? What brought you to work in the library? You said you came here.
Well, you know, I always had an interest in books. And, you know, one thing about working in a library, hey, books don't talk back.
That's a good point.
This is true.
So, you know, hey, I enjoy, you know, working at the library. You know, first off, started off volunteering and then got on part-time and got a full-time position and really enjoy it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's nice to give back to the community.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, before we start getting into what you guys both do at the Carver Computer and Job Search Center, we're going to listen to three of our favorite librarians. They're going to tell us about some of the great things happening at the Austin Public Libraries all across town. Let's roll it.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I am a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. Thursday, December 22nd, Recycled Reads hosts a holiday open house and boutique sneak peek. Items made by local artists and Austin Public Library gear will be available for purchase. The event will showcase the type of items that will be available in the new Central Library's boutique. The holiday open house begins at noon, Thursday, December 22nd, at Recycled Reads. The North Village Branch Library's next weeknight cinema feature is Force Majeure. A family vacationing in the French Alps is confronted with a devastating avalanche. This critically acclaimed film begins at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, December 22nd. Discover new movies with weeknight cinema at the North Village Branch Library.
This is Kathleen Houlihan, the teen librarian at the Falk Center Library downtown, bringing you all the teen and tween events happening across the Austin Public Library system for the upcoming week. It's gaming tournament time, and we're jumping right in with a slew of Mario Kart 8 Wii U tournaments at the following dates and locations. Thursday, December 22nd at 12:30 p.m. at the Little Walnut Creek branch. Wednesday, December 28th at 3:30 p.m. at the Twin Oaks branch. Thursday, December 29th at 4 p.m. at the Millwood branch. Friday, December 30th at the University Hills branch. And the finals and wild card competition will be on Saturday, January 7th at the Cepeda branch. Also this week, we're holding a So Happy program at the Manchac Road branch on Tuesday, January 3rd, where teens and tweens can learn to sew. More library programs and details are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Ann Minner, Youth Services Manager and Children's Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to tell you about the Austin Public Library events happening for children this week. The libraries will be closing at 3 p.m. on Thursday, December 22nd, and will remain closed over the holiday weekend, including Monday, December 26th. On Tuesday, December 27th, the Carver Branch jumps right back into the holiday spirit with their Kwanzaa program from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. The meaning of Kwanzaa will be celebrated through music, poetry, pictures, and performance, highlighting the similarities and differences to other holidays. This program is open to all ages and again is hosted by the Carver Branch from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesday, December 27th. Details are at library.austintexas.gov.
The Talking Book Program is a free library service for persons with a visual, physical, or reading disability preventing them from reading standard print. The Talking Book Program is looking for fluent Spanish-speaking volunteers interested in being trained to operate easy-to-use studio recording software and hardware so that more books in Spanish can be produced for patrons across Texas and the U.S. To volunteer, you may contact 512-475-4605 or visit texastalkingbooks.org.
If you have an old vehicle that can no longer be on the road, we can get it out of your way. With the Co-op Car Donation Program, we pick up your old car, truck, or boat. Get some space back in your garage while helping Co-op. For more info, call us at 877-750-KOOP or visit koop.org.
And we are back with Volumes,
Hello.
the Austin Public Library radio show. And we're going to continue our conversation today with Lance Gentles and Everett Keller.
So Lance, now that we're back, tell me about the Computer and Job Search Center at the Carver branch of the library.
Well, at the Computer Job Center, people come through and we help them find jobs. We help them with resume preparation. We also help them with cover letters and also with acing the interview, getting that confidence, get that swagger. When they break the plane and they come through, a lot of them have their head down and they're discouraged.
Right.
But, that's my responsibility in Everett's that, that they can, not that they can't, get
And
that
that's a
swagger.
thing that they don't even realize they need
Exactly
a lot of
right.
times. Yeah.
That's right.
And so anybody can just walk into the Carver Computer and Job Search Center and get help. So I'm curious, Everett, can you describe a day in the life at your job, for example?
Well, first of all, you can set appointments. Just give us a call at our number, 974-1022, and we'll be happy to set up a consultation for you in advance. Our operating hours are between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Thursday, and Friday and Saturday we're open from 11 to 4. But
That's great.
walk-in service is also available to anybody who needs it. So just come on in. Generally, we don't have a lot of appointments, so more than often you can just walk right in and get service. We open at 10, and generally there are a few people waiting for us at that point, people that have all different kinds of questions about things, looking for a job, looking to rewrite a resume or a cover letter, get ready for an interview. We also do a lot with certain applications for government services. There's some things that we can't help you with, immigration paperwork and things like that. But if you need help, figuring out where to go, especially, we can definitely help you with those things. And there are some things, if you need help, like paying down your surcharges on your driver's license or something like that, or printing out your driving record. Those are things that we can help you with too. Also, if you're needing, a place to do some sort of online training for a job to get some sort of a license, it's a good place for that as well. But yeah, people come in. We have 8 computers available. They can sit down at any one of them that they like that's available and work without a time limit except for the operating hours of the lab. And then Lance and I are there throughout the whole, or either one of us would be there, sometimes both of us, to offer any kind of assistance, answer any questions that you have, to kind of lift the fog over the process so that you can make it through. And we also offer really good advice on this City of Austin application process.
And that's what's up. Very good. You guys are definitely, I don't even know what to say. That's a great service you're providing. What are some of the great stories you can come back with, like customers you've helped or something like that?
Well, for instance, we can have, we had a young lady who came in and she's never had a job, and we were like, well, we can put your resume together and see, what have you done, like volunteer work. Volunteer work helps, close those gaps of unemployment. So, we asked, have you done some volunteer work? Have you, done some computer work? And she has, and we put a resume together and, she was like, oh, okay, I actually have done some things, and so, give them that, encouragement there.
Yeah, a lot of times people don't really realize just how much they have to offer in the job market.
Exactly right.
And, consulting with Lance or I is a good way to sort of put your experience, even, experience for things that you haven't been paid to do, like volunteer work or, working in your community. These are all things that we can help you to turn into selling points as you're in the job market.
That's really great. I wish I had had this service when I was looking for a job all those years ago. I've been with the library almost as long as you, so going on 9 years now. But it's my understanding is that a lot of people have the skills to do the job, but they may not have the computer skills to apply for the job or to get all the little ducks in a row that is required nowadays for online applications, or like you said, printing out a driving record or whatever, those kinds of things. Is that true?
It was just a couple of weeks ago, we had a customer come in, a man, I guess he had recently immigrated to the United States from Cuba. And he was in his 70s. But I was really interested in him because he was a trained lithographic printer, which is what my dad did as a living. So, anyways, he had come from a situation in another country where technology was not really even available the way that it is here, and he could not even speak English. But I was able, I can speak Spanish, and so I was able to help him put together some pretty good application materials and a resume to, give him sort of a good idea of where he stood in the American job market and what he could be, the kinds of leads he could be pursuing. So, yeah, people come in really just knowing what they know, with quite a bit of dark, shadows to be dispelled about what the next steps are, and we can definitely help them with that.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that you were a Spanish speaker. That's really cool. So that's opening you up to helping a lot more people that may or may not. Yeah, cool, neat.
Yeah, extra beneficial. So great. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, what other kinds of things do people come in and maybe need help buying tickets to visit family or communicate, or is it mostly just sort of more related to the task of getting employment?
Well, sometimes people come in, they might need tickets to travel to see family, as you say, to get a food handler license. Because, they have to have a food handler license to, have employment, have food services. So they come in and have their food, handler's license. And some people come in and, they might want to have just on one-on-one, with us, to help them, open up an email, There's some people that have never even had an email. So, we help them get an email and get the password and get that confidence going, just step by step, help them
Right,
out.
which again is where that job search needs to begin.
Exactly right.
And I like what you'd said, Everett, about, a lot of people don't recognize their own talents because they've been living with them. And so sometimes people are carrying these things that are marketable and they don't even know that.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
or
come to
a
the
lot of
center.
times people don't understand, or having like a delicate touch for putting things in like HR talk really helps to like make it so that something that you're really trying to communicate to people comes out a little more clearly,
Exactly.
like if, yeah.
When to have the right language, right?
That's great. Well, we're getting close to the end of the segment, but I wanted to ask y'all real quick about also some of the folks that y'all work with are trying to transition kind of from having been in prison, right? Is that right? And y'all
That is correct.
like,
Yes.
help them, figure out the steps they need to take to get employment and what kinds of what's
Yeah.
happening for them.
We have resources available for people who are recently coming out of incarceration. If you are in that situation, you should know that things probably are a lot less hopeless than they feel like for you, and that with some proper strategizing and a little bit of help on communication, some realistic exploration of goals and things like that, we can put together a real good track for you that, you should be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That's great that y'all can provide that service and have that experience, because it's kind of a scary place to be, I'm sure. you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's good that you come with that abstract thought of what like the first step is to find a job. It goes beyond just contacting an employer. It
And
starts
we
with the
tell
person.
we tell people when they walk in, don't be surprised about the atmosphere when you come in,
Right.
because you come inside the job center. We'll have some instrumentals going. We might have a little bit of some Tribe Called Quest and some nice music going for you. And you're like, hey, we like that.
Yeah.
Let's break the ice and let's work together.
You're allowed to have your own personality.
That's
but
right.
be
Exactly
employable.
right. That's what we want.
Oh, I'm so glad
Yeah,
that you
y'all are
guys
doing a
came
great
into the
thing.
studio today. This is amazing. I wish we could talk more about this. We're just
it's been
about
our
out of
pleasure.
time.
Yeah, thanks again,
Thank you.
Lance and Everett,
Anytime.
for joining us.
thank you
The
again.
Carver Computer and Job Search Center phone number is 512-974-1022.
And next up, we're going to play an excerpt from the library's podcast. This particular podcast is called Austin Creates. And in this interview, Rebecca Manley, who is a children's writer, she's a blogger. She has a blog called Brave Tutu, and she's also the coordinator for the Texas Center for the Book. And that's a part of this Texas State Library and Archives Commission, which is a wonderful resource that is not enough people know about it. But anyway, I digress. In this little clip we're going to listen to, she talks about the writing process and her work creating manuscripts for picture books and chapter books. It's pretty interesting stuff. So let's roll that clip.
I would like to talk about your inspiration as a writer and your process as a writer.
I think for me, people always talk about that daunting first draft. For me, I love first drafts. I love blank pages. I like the click of the keys with, white space underneath. For me, the harder part comes with the editing, but I have a lot of joy and delight in that fresh work production. So I think I don't get hung up on starting something. Sometimes it's the hang up is sometimes deciding what I want to finish. And, I write picture books is a bulk of what I write. And for those, they need so much editing, I would have written you a shorter letter, but I didn't have the time. I mean, picture books take so much time because you have a whole story arc and almost a minor story arc in each page turn, and you have to have fodder for every single picture. And so those to craft a good picture book manuscript takes a lot of time. And honestly, I love it. So I'm not even afraid of editing that. I just think it's sitting down and chunking away at something that sometimes I should be a little bit more disciplined in because I have so many things I like to do. So it's finding what I want to do or have time to do. That's the harder process for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the the books that you've done.
So one of my books is a chapter book. It actually takes place here in Austin. That's the setting, Balcones Woods, actually.
Nice.
And it's about a little girl who she aches to have her brother's attention back. He's older and he's moving on. He has friends. And so she knows he loves ice cream and she loves ice cream. And she's fascinated with the idea of working for the ice cream man. So she decides if she gets an internship with him, then her brother will be back. I want to be an intern with her. And so it's the summer goal is to work for the ice cream man. That's Bella, Bella Eve. That's her name. And then I have different manuscripts. Like one of them is about a girl that flushes her dad's phone down the toilet, and a mermaid finds it, and what happens with that.
I love that.
It's a lot of fun. I have 2 different board books. They're about sheep, lambs. And then I have one book right now that I'm working actually with. I have some friends in the deaf community, and they're kind of helping me because it's Twyla Twirls, and it's a day in the life of Twyla. It's actually her birthday. And I from right now, Twyla, the character, is not able to hear, and so I want to understand that a little bit better and make sure that I'm true to her story and true to her character. And so that's something I'm working on. And I have a coffee shop parody book that I'm working on. And then I honestly have a lot of manuscripts in the works. And then I work a lot on Brave Tutu, which is my blog. And then the chapter books. I also have chapter book manuscripts going as well.
Wow, and the chapter books are for what age range?
So they're different. I like to sort of break it down like this, especially if people are kind of new to the picture book world, because we know about picture books, and then we know about young adult. Those both get a lot of hype. But to break it down even a little bit more, there's board books, which are they're like board like pages, and you picture 0 to 3-year-olds chewing on it. And then there's the step after that, picture books. And then you can get into early readers. And then that flows into chapter books. And there's early reading chapter books, and then chapter books that get a little bit more advanced with more words and more pages. And then that can flow into middle grade novels and then YA. And, depending on the age of the reader or the range of the reader, that all flows into those categories. I find that I like to write for younger readers.
You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show.
On Co-op 91.7 FM, Hornsby, Austin, radio for people, not for profit.
Co-op Radio features roots programming every morning of the week. This is Rod Moog inviting you to join me for the country, swing, and rockabilly jamboree Thursday mornings from 9 to 11. Our country is classic, our swing is western, and the rockabilly is the early kind from the mid-1950s. Thursday mornings 9 to 11. Look for you there.
And we are back with Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show.
Hi there. And we just heard an excerpt from episode 13 of the library's podcast, Austin Creates, featuring an interview with children's writer Rebecca Manley. And again, Rebecca works at the Texas Center for the Book in Austin. She writes a blog called Brave Tutu, which is available at bravetutu.com. And Austin Creates and all Austin Public Library podcasts can be found at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
That is all a fact. It's all true. We have a library awareness campaign going on because guess what? Not enough people know about the library. It's true, believe it or not.
Psst,
and one of the things we're doing is we're talking to people in the community who use the library, and we're asking them about, their experience. And this customer named Donovan wrote a poem about my library. And so I'm going to read that for you now.
Wonderful.
This warms my heart, really. Love of a breadth of knowledge and learning, its pair, a feeling like a breath of sweet, refreshing air, support in pursuit of craft and artistic flair, delight in flights of fancy, and world from here to there. Passion for all those things barely known, now learned with flair, thanks to my library card, which I take everywhere. Isn't that cute? I love it.
Yeah, that gets me in my feels. I'm feeling it. And library fans can show some love on social media using the hashtag #MyLibraryIsLove.
Absolutely. And thanks so much again to Lance Gentles and Everett Keller for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, yes. And next week, we're going to have Debbie Sharvin, and she's going to talk to us about volunteer programs, volunteering in the library, all the cool things.
She does a lot with volunteers. She's been working real hard at trying to pair volunteers up with their specific interests within the library. If you have some talents that you'd like to share, she could probably find you a place, and we need the help.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people don't realize we host over 6,000 programs at the library. A lot of those are volunteer led. Some of them are led by library staff members, and others are through partnerships with the community. But last year we had more than 175,000 people in the community come and attend library programs. So, I mean, we must be doing something right.
Yeah, like the free computer classes and training at 5 libraries, the Folk Central, the Carver branch, the Little Walnut Creek branch, the Willie Mae Kirk and Ruiz branches.
Absolutely. And the Willie Mae Kirk branch has a tech assistant, and so does the Ruiz branch. And of course, we just heard from our buddies at the Carver Computer and Job Search Center. So we got all kinds of resources. We got resources everywhere. And gosh, I guess more than 36,000 people signed up for library cards in the last year.
Signed up. That's new users.
Yeah, because if you've already got a library card,
you ain't getting rid of it.
That's right. I've got mine from the 90s still. It's like blue. Yeah.
People hold on to them. They definitely like their old cards. There's a few people who are upset that they had to get rid of their old paper ones that didn't have the barcodes on them.
Oh, that was me. Yeah, totally. I had a paper one, and they were like, no, you can't use that anymore. You have to have this blue one with the barcode. I was like, no. They were like, no. And I'm like, but just type the numbers in. Come on. They wouldn't. No.
Yeah. And, we're always offering expert information and answers via our email, our chat, telephone us at 512-974-7400. You can even text your questions and inquiries.
What? You can text the library?
We have text now.
No.
Yeah, at 512-337-4893. And always through the online Ask a Library service on our website and in person.
Yeah, come on in, talk to the librarians, ask a question. They got all kinds of answers.
They're waiting for you.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I guess that's about the end of the show. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Information about this and all things Austin Public Library can be found at library.austintexas.gov, or you can call. We're available. Those librarians are available, 512-974-7400.
Thanks again for listening in with us. Until next time, see you later.
Sayonara. Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Details at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
Want to give a special thanks to our audio engineer, DJ Harris, and our volunteer production assistant, Sev Corson.
And thanks to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song: Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and APL's very own Mike Wheat on percussion.
Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on KOOP.org Community Radio.